Hello there, only One Kenobi here, only one. And as promised, I was going to follow up with the previous video I did looking at the Ghost. And I wanted to show you all the other reveals that happened on Friday, I believe. And so what I did was on the night, I did a load of screenshots of the live stream that John Miko did. So we could watch it live. Don't know why Hasbro didn't do their own live stream, but no idea. But still, so thank you to him, we could see it live. So I'm going to now go through my screenshot collection. These are all in chronological order, obviously, and then I will overlay the actual official images that we've had since. So, started off with the first thing was this Chewbacca, and it's, I don't know, quite like this. It's a bold move to do a Chewbacca based on the holiday special, given George Lucas's sentiments on that, although he doesn't own it anymore. But the Chewbacca itself was interesting because it wasn't just a repack of the Chewbacca that you got on the New Hope card, the same figure that you saw in the TIE Fighter Pilot Black Series. But this one, I don't know, it had that kind of young face that we saw in the sequel Chewbacca figure. I think the one we got with Galaxy's Edge, I'd have to whip it out and have a look at that. But he had a very young face. This one does as well, but the robe is very interesting. But it got better from there. Almost like a bad start, you know, because it's not what I would have asked for, but still. Then they showed the image of Ahsoka here, and then we started rolling on that. Ahsoka's coming up. And the thing about the backing of the Ghost is that that will continue into the Ahsoka era. So it's had a very good start. At the making of this video, we're on 6,766 backers. That ain't bad at all. It's really close to getting back to 8,000. So will it get to the 17,000 though? That would be interesting. But then given the Ahsoka thing will kick in, that might rejuvenate a bit of interest. But I'm going to do a separate video on that because I want to talk about a few people's reaction to the Ghost. I've bought one, I backed it. I'm not getting any more than that though, you see. I really am not. Whereas you see the Razor Crest, I got more than one. I won't say how many. But I know a lot of people who haven't bought one at all. A lot of people in my comments. So just imagine if all those people were on board as well. It would be steaming ahead. But still, we'll talk about that another time. Back to the screen grabs, so they sort of, some of these images are a bit rough because they're just a screen grab of a live stream, but they talked about the vintage collection, and then this was the first thing to be announced. Sabine Wren from Ahsoka, not from the Rebels, and as you know, there was a few Rebels reveals later, including with the Ghost package, but this looked like a good figure in a deluxe set. Be worth a look at that. I'm quite interested and looking forward to seeing Sabine in live action, because I didn't really take to her as a character in the cartoon. Then they have this Ahsoka, which is just a repack of what we got in the Mandalorian line. It's a great figure. The card back interests me. That is a brilliant card back. I love that. She's just so cool, isn't she? Rosario Dawson's brilliant. And the lightsabers as well. They did reveal, oh, here they are, speaking of which. They revealed this repaint of the Phase 2. Not one I'm going to get myself. I'd be more interested in getting the original Phase 2 before I get that. The Ahsoka lightsabers, apparently, I remember them saying they were the longest hilts they've ever done. Interesting. So you've got Rebels and Clone Wars there. And then they showed us this. Now, I got very excited when I saw Thrawn. I was like, brilliant. I've been waiting for a proper live-action Thrawn forever. When I first saw it, I was so disappointed. I thought, no, I don't want to see an animated card back. But the figure, I understand, is done to reflect the reality of the live actor. Since I really enjoyed the Genndy Tartakovsky card backs from a while back, I don't know if you like them or not. So given they were so successful, I've actually warmed to the idea of having card backs like this, which are a snapshot of the original source material, but then the figure isn't going to be that animated style. I mean, that Thrawn figure that's from the 5 POA anyway looks a bit weird. That's not how I want Thrawn to look. You know, he's based on a cartoon. As you saw later on when they revealed all the other Rebels card backs, this will just fit in like a glove next to those. However, you've got to then cross your fingers that we're even going to get them, because they are all tiers and there's big gaps between those tiers for the backing of the Ghost. But we'll talk about that in a bit more detail later. Then this was Pre-Vizsla. And then this was interesting. They showed these And this is something I've been waiting for ages. I'm so glad they brought this back, but this is something they could have done a long time ago. I'm a little bit disappointed that we've had to suffer all those boring backs of card backs for so long. But they're going to do this, and it's probably to protect so people can't see the backs of the cards to reveal upcoming releases and stuff. But still, then, this was a highlight for me. It's like a roller coaster when you watch these panels. Ups and downs, but this was great when they showed this Revan. Wow. So glad they did that, as opposed to reissuing that so-so 30th anniversary Revan. Absolutely brilliant. And again, there's a card back for this, but I have an issue with the back of this card that they are announcing, because what they should be doing, like previous, they would show you the first issue of that character, of which we should be looking at a 30th anniversary Revan there. So that's boring, Hasbro. You haven't done your homework there. But anyway, card back image is perfect. Just what I wanted to see. That's a great image of Revan. I think it's the same one they had on the front of the book, but I think it was a green saber that was lit for the Revan book. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. So there you go. That's the one I mean. It's the image that was taken from the live stream. But still, the figure looks fantastic. Then, 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi. I think they said something like, oh, we need to bring in some 4-packs. I was really hoping for the Gamorrean Guard 4-pack, but it was this, which is not bad either. I did actually initially think it was Dedra Miro on the right there for the Imperial Bureau, Security Bureau, ISB, Imperial Security Bureau, but one of these figures is Motti, which is great because Motti, of all the figures you got back in the day from the Saga collection, you know, they had that briefing room set. Motti was the one that needed the biggest update because he was chunky and very, very much of the Power of the Force 2 ilk. So that's quite good. But brilliant. They've opened the floodgates with these. I can't wait for more. Dedra Miro you could do Admiral Ozzel. Bring it on, man. Bring it on. So that's good news. This, as we all knew about this anyway, I've done a video featuring the Return of the Jedi retros, but they showed these again, and I've put my own order in on HasbroPulse. Can't wait to get them. Wow. Great set, and there they are. You've got Gamo, Akbar, Yakface, Mothma, Wicket, and the Imperial Guard. So that's really good. Oh, and then this was the worst part of it all, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it wasn't. It was the worst and the best. The best is to come. But were you there watching this, scratching your head at these pipelines? They were terrible. And who were the shills in the audience going, woo, 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 woo? Who were they? They were shills, man. Because I wasn't cheering. They said, where is he now? Let's go back. It was, what's he called? Him. Axis Woes just had him. Then I can't even think who that is. Who is that in the middle there? It looks like Axis Woes again, to be honest. Can't tell the screenshot because Miko was moving the camera around like a madman. Keep it steady, Miko. You pan that camera more slowly, man. Then they said the Mandalorian. I was like, okay, another one. Whatever. And then they said Grogu. What the hell? We've had so many Grogus. And then Finn, and that was more interesting. Actually, to be honest, when it happened live, when I was watching it, I looked at the image and I thought, oh God, it's not from the Rise of Skywalker, is it? But no, that's Finn from Force Awakens. And that's great, man. I want more Force Awakens cards done. That's where Finn should have always been done. That Black Series figure from 2015 should have always been a TVC, fully articulated figure that it was. And give the boy some respect, eh? It's just, you know, they effed up his storyline. And then who is that? I can't remember who they said that was. Who is that? Interjection, this is me whilst I'm editing this video. I've just remembered who they did say it was. It was Cassian Andor from Rogue One, though. I couldn't believe it. Like, that's a peg warmer. Well, certainly the Black Series one was, I'm sure. So, very strange. Unless it's rare around the world, they want to bring it back. But that was just, for me, very strange. Puzzling. And then they said a Phase 1 clone. I was like, what? The only place I'd want a Phase 1 clone would be on a Genndy Tartakovsky Clone Wars card back. I don't want another one of them. Unless it is the captain or the commander in the yellow or something. So I've no idea where they're going with that. And then finally, they said Dooku. And that was just a historical moment. That was brilliant news. Finally, and we all knew it was going to happen. They've ticked a big box there. The next big box they need to tick is Han, Luke, and Leia, and the AT-AT driver, and then we are done, Hasbro. You and I are done. And then this was pretty cool as well. I'm so hot and cold on the retro collection, but when they first sort of announced it back in 2019, and we sort of got the first look of the retros, and I sort of like got thinking about the potential of what they could do for Star Wars. Things like Owen, Beru, things we never got in the past, and then also maybe stuff from films that have, you know, now 2 decades down the line kind of films, you know, not for, that's why I don't like it for the modern stuff, you know, like for Kenobi and for, you know, The Mandalorian. They've only just come out and they're making retro figures for them. Nah, but for things like Phantom Menace, man, you know, it's over 2 decades old now. Give it some vintage sprinkle, man. So I quite like this. Plus, I know it'll go really nicely. It'll go really nicely next to my Phantom Menace cards on my wall. Just thinking about myself again. But I'm sure you might have the same idea. It's like, I like the variancy factor of that. So there you go. You've got Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, Darth Maul, Battle Droid, Jar Jar, and of course Queen Amidala. Oh, look at the Amidala! Look at the Amidala they've gone for. Just recently got her in the Power of the Jedi line. That's a good figure. And then it was all done. The next thing they showed was the Ghost, and then you know all about that. The rest is history. I've got all those images and videos on my previous upload, so if you want to check that out. But I will keep you updated, ladies and gentlemen. I do have more things I want to say about the Ghost, so that will not be my final word on it. But looking forward to seeing where it goes. It's a long time. There's over 40 days left, and be very interested to see what number they end on. But for right now, the making of this video, it's looking like it's going to get backed. Hit 8,000 anyway. Definitely a strong pace. 17,000, that's another matter for another day. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it there. Those were the reveals other than the Ghost that happened at the HasbroPulse SDCC Comic-Con panel. And what a great night it was, man, for 3 3/4 inch. I have to say, it's looking good, man. The future's looking very good. Strong it looks. Keep it going. Well done, Hasbro. Thank you so much. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out.